Helmet safety is the topic of our conversation as we come to you from the shops at Mission Viejo. On hand, we're the BMX Pros Trick Team, providing the excitement for the day's festivities that included a free helmet giveaway to anyone that registered. An incredible collaboration by the City of Mission Viejo, Mission Viejo Police Services, Providence Mission Hospital, and the shops at Mission Viejo. High-flying BMX with a great message coming your way. I'm Paul Higgins. This is Coach's Corner, and all the action starts right now. So I have personal experience when a kid does not wear a helmet. My son ended up in ICU right over our shoulder here for 5 days. So Eric, I have personal experience in the great things that you are doing today to showcase the kids, the professional riders, on how important it is to wear a helmet. Your thoughts about that?
Absolutely, 100%. That is the main reason why we are here today. We're doing two things. We're entertaining and we're educating at the same time. We're here, we understand the importance of being a role model. So as role models, we try to tell the kids that we like to do this for fun, but also we take precautions, which is most importantly wearing a helmet. So if you notice, all of the riders here, all of them are wearing it.
And Mission Hospital and your organization is doing a great thing, and they're giving out free helmets today for all the kids that arrive. And I know that's super important. They're not just here for the free stuff, they're here for a great show. Your riders wear helmets. I know ever since they've started doing harder tricks, maybe they've learned it in a foam pit, but they've always worn a helmet. Can you express your thoughts, because I know you ride and you've ridden, your thoughts about that comfort zone is when you have that helmet on, it allows you actually to take that extra step.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of people think, hey, we're doing the stunts, you definitely need a helmet. A lot of the times you can get hurt just goofing around in your driveway, messing around with your friends. A lot of the times that I've gotten hurt was just like, check this out, doing something silly. Usually when you're focused and you're doing something that's intense, you tend not to get hurt, you know, you slide out of it. But goofing around, just playing around the driveway, it can get you really hurt. So a lot of those things is we like to tell our kids, you know, like, hey, people are out there, cars, motorcycles, you gotta be careful.
Your thoughts about the tricks they're doing today? I know they're going to temper them down a little bit because some of these guys can do a lot more than they're showcasing today. But your thoughts about what they're doing and how far the sport of BMX stunt has progressed. I mean, I can't even imagine back in the day into what they're doing now.
Correct. Well, from back in the day, I know you were there personally because I was actually in one of your shows back in the 90s. So it has evolved a lot. Okay, but the thing about these guys that no matter where they are, they're still professionals and they do what they do to stay safe. So that includes coming out here doing a performance and doing the tricks that they know. They're not here just to huck and just throw out, see what can happen. This is, you know, calculated risk. So we don't get a lot of accidents due to that. You know, keep it professional, keep it clean.
Eric, have you ever had a kid that's come watch your show, like maybe this guy right in front of us, and then one day he's performing in your show?
100%. There's actually a lot of people in our team. This is the oldest and largest. We've been around since '91. There's a guy in West Bend, Wisconsin. He saw our show. He's been working for us ever since. He saw our shows and now he's working for us, and it's just great.
So tell me about your tour. Where do you go and what do you do, and the gratification that you get just from showcasing these riders to these kids?
Well, it's always a pleasure to do what I love for a living, and we do close to 400 school assemblies year-round nationwide. So we get to talk to hundreds of thousands of students, and we tell them the same thing. You know, we come and entertain at their school, and we also give them an important, valuable lesson to put on their safety gear, no matter where they are.
How has the helmet evolved over the years? I know that ProTech, when I was started out with skateboarding, ProTech, I actually wore a hockey helmet for a while, but ProTech, has there been development in the headgear?
Absolutely. We have now DOT approved helmets that actually have extra protection that weren't around back in the 90s. And you know, in the 90s, a lot of the accidents that happened made it to where we actually have modern helmets now that actually protect. You land on it once, you throw it away, you get a new one. So those are the protocols you got to take to stay safe with the new helmets.
Eric, I don't want to telegraph anything, but say for instance a rider does fall, maybe a kid in his backyard is riding, or they're riding at a park. And you don't have to give me your medical, professional advice on this, but if you're a rider, if you're a parent, if you do fall, what's the steps that you take? Because I've been there but I didn't exactly know either.
Yeah, that's something that's tough. It all depends on the situation as well. That's why we always encourage you, always take your precautions. Never go to the skate park alone. You fall down, there's no one there to help you. You know, parents, always be cautious. Always. The thing is that, you know, call the police, of course, but sometimes it takes too long for the ambulance to come to you. So there's a lot of dangers.
Yeah.
So take your precautions. It's always a good thing. These guys wearing their knee pads, shin guards, ankle guards, gloves, all that good stuff too, you know.
Can you tell us a little bit about the riders that we're seeing today?
Yes, we got some amazing riders. We got Andrew Topa, we got Bronson, we got Lenny, myself, Eric, I'll be on the mic. These guys just finished 6 weeks yesterday on the road. They did 2 shows a day for 6 weeks, came straight to here. So these guys are already warmed up. They know the ramps like the palm of their hand.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be an exciting show. We actually brought 2 extra ramps this time around. So this is a full circuit, and these guys are gonna go back and forth for 20 minutes on each show.
And you know, it's not that easy because actually, as I'm standing on this concrete parking lot, it's tilted down.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of pushback.
Yes,
How
yes.
much does that have to play in the riders?
There's always something. If it's crosswind, if it's headwind, if it's rain, if it's heat, it doesn't matter. We're pros. It says on a shirt. So we're gonna have to pull through no matter what.
Lasting thoughts about today's event, and if you can summarize maybe what we talked about and then what you want these kids and parents to take away from what you're doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is our 3rd year back for this event, and I'm very glad. I'm gonna definitely have a speech midway through our show where I let the kids know how important it is. We're not here just to show the tricks and to encourage them to do it. We highly recommend them not to, but if they are, we want them to be taking their precautions. Helmet, you know, gloves, elbow pads is a preference. Some people like them, some people don't. Knee pads, you know, all that good stuff is definitely gonna help.
Well, Eric, you're a blessing to all the kids here, and thank you for doing what you do. I know the road is hard. Hotels get old, travel gets old, bringing these ramps in and out of different places, but you're doing it for a great reason. Thank you, my man.
Yes,
Great
sir.
seeing you again.
Thank you so much. Great
Awesome.
catching up with you.
That was awesome. Tell me, I know you were sitting here while I was interviewing Mr. Eric. What are your thoughts about the importance of wearing a helmet?
It's good because if you get hurt, you'll fall, hit your head, you can get seriously injured.
Have you ever fallen and hit your head?
No, not bad.
Okay.
I've fallen and hit my head.
Have you had a helmet on?
Yeah, I wear helmets, yeah.
Do you feel safer when you're wearing a helmet?
Yeah, for sure.
Can you tell me about your thoughts about when you don't ride with a helmet, how that feels?
When I don't wear a helmet, it's scary because you don't feel safe. Like if you crash, you can get hurt. And when you wear a helmet, you just feel safer and you're more secure.
Are you going to get a helmet today?
Yeah.
Your dad's in line to get a helmet?
Yeah.
That's cool. What's your favorite thing today, do you think, about this event?
The jumps and how cool they could do it.
Do you think that maybe one day you want to hop on a ramp like this?
Yeah, probably.
And then what are you going to do when you hop on that ramp?
Wear a helmet.
Wear a helmet. Great job, brother.
Thank you.
Bob, you know, being in the city of Mission Viejo with the Mission Viejo Hospital over our shoulder, the importance of wearing a helmet, and the city does a great job of promoting that. Tell me your thoughts about this event today and really how important this event is to the families of Mission Viejo and the surrounding areas.
Oh, absolutely. First off, it's always a beautiful day in Mission Viejo, and today's another one of those. Look at this turnout. Safety, though, is imperative. For 16 years, I was in the racing business. Helmets were imperative. All my employees, we rode a helmet. Always you had to wear it. And it's like insurance. You only need it once, but that time you do is when you want it. So to our residents, particularly our youth, wear that helmet. It's important. It's that one day that'll save your life and makes your great day work out great.
Some cities don't do this type of an event, and you know the value of it when you see your own end up in the hospital. Your passion and the city's passion, because I remember back in 1984, over this shoulder, I was here with a BMX event with Oakley when all this was starting. And it was important then, and it's important now. Can you tell me about taking care of the community and the importance of doing an event like this?
Well, absolutely. Mission Viejo is a family-friendly place. We work really hard on all of our events, making sure that everyone feels welcome. But safety, of course, is paramount for all of us. We want our residents to be safe, to feel safe. We're one of the safest cities in the United States, and we're going to keep it that way.
When you look at an event like this and you see all the kids and the families come together, it really reminds me of a lot of things. That the '84 Olympics were here. So many different big events were here, the Matadors or the World Cup soccer team. This is just another one in the long line. What's the future to keep this type of event going in the city of Mission Viejo, and also keep bringing people together the way that you do?
Well, Mission Viejo is very sports oriented, of course. You mentioned all those great teams. What people need to know is we're right on the cusp of becoming the home for the Dutch Olympic team. For 2028, they will be here. They'll be practicing along with other teams that we haven't announced yet. So moving forward, sports are imperative. All this is excitement. Stay tuned for some incredible times right up to the new 2028 LA Olympics.
Well, you know what, Bob, I want to thank you for extending the invitation to come today. It's gentlemen like this that lead the city, and the importance of helmet safety is really shining through. So thank you for all your effort today.
Absolutely, and thank you for inviting. Thank you for coming. Thank you for putting on this fantastic event. And these athletes are incredible.
So, you know, our police here in Mission Viejo, they do a great job. Sometimes they protect us, and sometimes we protect them. And today, you were someone in between, getting on a chair on a ramp.
Yes, I was, and luckily I have watched these guys for a little while, and I saw what their capabilities are, so I felt fairly safe, but you never know. There's always accidents.
You know, they picked the tallest guy in the room, too. I was gonna go out and get a little kid, but they picked you.
No, I've seen some taller people here.
Did you ever have a doubt that they would clear you?
There's always a old doubt.
Yeah.
But if you didn't notice, I looked up and I wanted to see the clearance as they were jumping over me. Felt pretty safe.
Isn't that a great view, though, to watch
amazing.
them come over and just to see what they do? But to see what they do and what they perform, obviously they're wearing a helmet.
Yes.
I assume you've seen it all, right, in your career, and a lot of it is not good. Your thoughts firsthand about the importance of wearing a helmet?
Well, the helmet is, I mean, that's the #1 protection you have either on a bicycle or a motorcycle to help you from head trauma. I mean, I've seen so many accidents where without a helmet it wouldn't have been survivable.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to see the helmets nowadays, the way they absorb the impact. I mean, they're built for this type of accident.
Yeah.
So they're great. I wear one every time I ride a bike.
Yeah. As a father of two, do you think that when you do an event like this, you get through to these kids? Are they going to remember this? Are they going to see the examples of the professional riders and go, yeah, I got to wear a helmet?
Well, I always believe in leading by example. So as a parent, I always told my kids, I'm always going to wear a helmet. I'm never going to tell you that I'm not wearing one because I'm an adult. So I know how they will save your life.
Yeah, no doubt. As a personal story, I have 4 boys and a girl, and I had mentioned earlier that about 2 years ago, less than that, my son was in ICU for 5 days because the one time that he did not wear a helmet is when he got hurt.
Really?
And it's one of those things where you can never take that for granted.
Right.
I'm sure you've heard stories about that. And your thoughts in your career and going on, the main personal advice that you can add in addition to what you've already said about the helmets, and no matter what age you are.
Right. Well, on a personal note, I wouldn't be here if I didn't have a helmet. I had a really horrific motorcycle accident in the desert when I was 17 years old, where my helmet from the accident cracked in half. So I wouldn't have been here without a helmet. I ended up with 2 broken wrists, you know, a cracked sternum and other stuff, but I was able to walk away from it because I had my helmet on.
Wow.
So I believe in the use of protective equipment wholeheartedly.
That was a tremendous story. I got to ask you because I wasn't sure. You know, you go to circus acts and stuff, and there's all our Vegas shows. There's always that person in the audience. Were you that person in the audience today that knew that they were going to get pulled out or not?
Well, I kind of knew I was because I mentioned to them that some of the people, my staff, wanted to see me get jumped. So I said, hey, if you're looking for a jump victim, look towards my direction. So.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad you survived. I knew you would. These guys are professionals, and thank you for your leadership, and thank you for being here today.
I appreciate your support.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Thank you.
It doesn't look like it, but it's hot out here, and Andrew is giving it his all. Your thoughts about an event like this? It's one of those events that these kids are going to remember for the rest of their lives, literally.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, we do a lot of shows, man. We do shows mostly at like schools and stuff, so it's really cool to bring BMX into, you know, the younger generation, because I feel like it's very important for kids to get out and be active, you know. So having an event like this just reminds kids that there's a lot of fun in bike riding and skateboarding and scootering and whatever type of wheels, you know. There's a bunch of fun in it, so it's awesome to be out here and doing this.
The importance of you guys putting a helmet on is reflective of the stunts that you do. And I asked the little boy a little while ago, I go, don't you feel more comfortable when you have the helmet on?
Yeah.
And he said, absolutely. Your thoughts about that?
I think the helmet's definitely the most important thing. You know, when I was younger, there were times when I didn't wear my helmet and stuff because I thought it didn't look cool. But as I got older and I had some more injuries, I realized how important it is, you know? And like now, I've been riding BMX for 17 years. I'm 26 years old, you know? So I've crashed a lot of times you can imagine, and a helmet has saved my life thousands of times. Yeah. I've actually broken 20 helmets completely in half. So I replace my helmet like every 4 months, but it's definitely like super important for kids to wear their helmets, even if they're just riding down the street, because, you know, it's way more dangerous to ride down the street than it is for us to even do this here. Yeah. So I always stress for kids to wear their helmet because it's definitely the most important thing.
Well, it's one of the things too, it says BMX Pros on his shirt for a reason, because he is a professional. So even this today, you're looking at a flat surface, but it's really not flat because, Andrew, you're going downhill, and then you got to go back up the hill.
Yeah.
I don't think too many people recognize that, but you as professionals do. Can you tell me about how you adapt to every place you go, every school, every parking lot, and it's part of being a pro?
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, it definitely takes a lot to be able to adapt to different ramps, different show areas, uphill, downhill, maybe the ramps at a slant. It kind of just comes naturally over time. It's kind of hard to say like how you do it. You know, it's over time you just kind of get those skills. You know, you get that bike control, and eventually it just becomes a natural thing. You know, but it definitely is challenging. Like, you know, right now we have a smaller ramp at the top of the upslope. That way we kind of lose the speed coming up. So there was a strategic, you know, setting it up like this. The bigger ones at the bottom, crank at it, do a huge air, land, lose a little speed for the small corner turnaround, you know, so there's definitely a lot of math that goes into it and stuff like that, but mostly when you're adapting as a rider, it kind of just comes naturally.
Tell me about the showmanship that you bring, because obviously I know from being around the sport for a long time, you guys are holding back. There are certain things that you can do, but there's a showmanship in what you do. Can you explain that?
Well, one thing is we don't want to crash in front of a bunch of people, so we're definitely going to try and keep it a little safe, you know, like we're professionals, so we've got all types of spin tricks, flip tricks, whatever it is, but we're definitely, you know, keeping it safe. You know, we don't want to scare people, obviously. Everyone loves to see a good crash every now and then, but, you know, it's better if we just land everything. And the thing that's kind of crazy is, you know, once you start the show, you're like, all right, I'm going to keep it safe, but then like halfway through the show, your friends start doing crazy stuff, you get amped up, you start doing risky things, and, you know, hopefully it works out, but that's where coming a professional comes into play.
And such is life with the boys hanging out in the backyard doing stuff.
Exactly, man. That's where it all started, you know. That's what I always tell people. It all started with my friends when I was in school. We were building little dirt jumps, wood ramps, you know, so, yeah.
So just to tie a bow on this with the helmets, I know that you are influencing a lot of boys and girls to wear helmets. Personally, how's the gratification for that you actually, I think you said 20 helmets that you've probably broken, you're actually saving lives.
Oh yeah, it makes me feel great, honestly. I did a show a couple years back where we actually donated a helmet to a student, and he was involved in a car accident 2 weeks later, and they told him that if he wasn't wearing a helmet, it might have been a lot worse. So that made me feel really good about myself, and just, you know, knowing that kids listen to me, hopefully, and what we do at the school shows, you know, hopefully, you know, they actually listen and put their helmets on. It makes me feel a lot better because I've seen a lot of bad things happen in my life. I've been hit by a car actually when I was younger. Thankfully, I was wearing my helmet, so, you know, it wasn't bad. But it does make me feel really good knowing that I'm out here reminding all the kids to be safe and wear their helmet and stuff, because it's very important, because they're the next generation. They're going to be the next BMX riders when I'm in my 50s and 60s and coming to watch things like this. I want to see kids safe and pushing their dreams and all that, you know.
Lastly, I know you've been on the road for 6 months. Right now, you're in the city of Mission Viejo. Do you know where you're going to be tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I'm gonna be home, hanging out, maybe getting some sun, jump in the pool, you know. We did a lot of shows in the last 6 months. It's been crazy. So I was actually in the Bay Area straight for 2 months. So I wasn't even home for literally since April 2nd.
Well, I want to thank you on behalf of the City of Mission Viejo of being here today, showing your professionalism, your leadership to these kids. Awesome, man. Great
Thank
stuff.
you very much. I appreciate it.
Great interview. So Officer Tom has been riding since 2005, and I bet you that since 2005 you've always done one thing. What is that one thing that you've always done when you've ridden your bike?
I've worn a helmet. I've always worn a helmet.
Yeah. So today is the reason why we're here is to show the importance of not only adults but more specifically the youth of America, youth of Mission Viejo to wear a helmet. Can you explain? We know the significance of it from your point of view. You've seen some things that I don't care to think about, but you've seen firsthand what happens when you don't wear a helmet.
So when you go to the doctor, you can fix a lot of things, but you can't fix your head. You oftentimes can't fix your head. So if you wear a helmet and you protect that, then everything else can be fixed, but your head can't be fixed. Yeah, very important.
And the helmets today are so much more safer than they were, but helmets have always been the case. Do you ever stop somebody that's not wearing a helmet?
All the time.
Okay, tell me what that conversation is.
Very oftentimes I'll stop them and write them a ticket for not wearing a helmet because I really, really don't want them to do that again. I want them to wear a helmet every time, every ride. And it's very important to wear a helmet. And that includes bicycles, cars, motorcycles, the three-wheeled motorcycles that are open top, that are like a car. It includes a lot of things, scooters, skateboards, so it's very important to wear a helmet.
Last question for you. I know I would call you a professional motorcycle rider, right? Because you are. The kids out there that are riding these e-bikes, I've got a son, 2 of them, that have crashed on them. They're riding something that's very powerful. What do you have to say for all the e-bike riders out there, whether you're a child or an adult?
Number one, make sure it's a legal motorized e-bike. But if it's an electric motorcycle, just be aware that electric motorcycles don't have pedals and they have a lot more power than what's legal to use. But operate your e-bike safely. And always wear a helmet. Talk to your parents about safe riding, and always do it safely and within your own personal limits.
Thank you for doing what you do, serving our community and keeping our community safe. It's awesome to have you. Thank you, sir.
It's my pleasure.
It's the best youth broadcasting workshop and camp of its kind. The YTN is now accepting reservations for upcoming workshops and summer broadcasting camps. Don't wait. Reserve your spot now. Email us your contact information to info@theytn.org. Receive real broadcast experience that includes play-by-play, analyst, sideline reporter, studio host, and more.
The YTN broadcast camp was really fun. It was probably one of the funnest camps I've done all summer.
The YTN broadcast camp. Reserve your spot now. Nicole, it's not uncanny that the #1 visit to Mission Hospital is e-bike. Do I have that correct?
That is correct, for pediatric patients.
Yeah, so it's pretty traumatic in all sense of the word. And I had mentioned earlier that my son ended up there in 5 days in ICU.
Oh, wow.
And he didn't have a helmet on the very first time. The importance of what you guys are doing today, behind us you're registering young boys and girls, or whoever wants one, to get a helmet. Tell me why you're doing it and the importance of it.
Yeah, so several years back, when we started to see this trend with e-bike traumas, we decided that there really was a need in the community for helmets. And so our CEO and the foundation at Mission Hospital got some donors together and decided we were going to make this program happen.
And it's not one of those programs that's just one and done. You do it all the time.
Right.
Can you explain that aspect of it? Because you don't ever want to see anyone come in the hospital that doesn't need to be there if they didn't have a helmet on.
That's correct. So we give them out at our gift shop. We do community events. We do this big event with the city of Mission Viejo every year. So, and it's, you know, kids are growing, so they need new helmets all the time.
So just for namesake, say for instance, if somebody's watching, they live in Mission Viejo, maybe they don't have the funding to buy a helmet, they can come by the gift shop?
Yep, they can come by the gift shop at Laguna Beach or at the Mission Viejo campus and get a helmet. And if there's no one in the gift shop, they can come hunt down someone from the trauma department, and we have access to helmets 24/7.
Words of wisdom, are you a mom?
I am a mom.
Words of wisdom from a mom
Yeah.
to the people out there. I know what you're gonna say, but you can't get tired of saying it.
Yeah. We can't wrap them in bubble wrap, so a helmet is the next best thing, but save your brain, wear a helmet, it's the least you can do. A lot of parts of your body will heal, your bones will heal, but your brain does not heal the way your bones does, so you need to protect it. You need that brain.
Outstanding advice. I heard that last night about the brain is the most important thing. Without the brain, you don't have the mind.
Right.
Right? So thank you for all that you do.
Yeah.
It's amazing what Mission Hospital does with the city of Mission Viejo, and it's ladies like this and programs like this that make all of this work. So I appreciate all of you watching today. On behalf of Nicole and everybody that was part of this show from Mission Hospital and the grounds of the shops at Mission Viejo, thank you, and wear your helmet.
Thank you.
Good job.
All right, that's the hard part. Go ahead and take a seat. You're gonna get the best view in the house, sir. So here we go. All the young kids out there. Don't be going out and telling your dad to build you a ramp and then try to put your Uncle Joey on top of it. Try jumping over them. It's not going to be the same. Here we go. Jonathan Bronson coming over. What are you doing? No, I just lost. Oh, you guys got to get louder. Ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan Bronson, here we go. Massive air! Oh my goodness! Ladies and gentlemen! How by one, by two? How about a big round of applause for this young man?